Hi friends, it's Michelle Ladd with National Veteran Resources, and look who I have in the new Hero Mobile today. I have my friend Jim, and before we sit down, I want to show you how Jim came to greet me. He has his full camo uniform, and I love seeing him in his camo uniform. So I want to show you. I'm going to pan down. Do you mind, Jim?
Not at all.
Because I can't kind of put it the other way. And Jim is donning an amazing camo uniform. So before we sat down to do the interview, I wanted to show you. Yep, so let's have a seat. So I told him we're going to do something.
Oh, they're cushy.
He's sitting in, it is comfortable. This is the Heroes Home Advantage. Let's see, can I get you in there? There we go. This is the Heroes Home Advantage main office and also National Veteran Resources office. So, Jim and I, sorry Randy, I said so. Randy tells me I say so a lot. I think I get a little nervous sometimes and I just try to put
You're
some
nervous?
words in
What
there.
about me?
Are you nervous?
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. We're all friends here. We met years ago, and we've been to some military events, and
Yes.
I remember that for several years in May, I did May Heroes Appreciation Month, and that's where my team and I went out and delivered meals to thousands of heroes in Monroe County here in New York.
You're firefighters, police officers.
Yeah.
You were all over the place.
Yes, and you were there to greet me and get me into some of the fire departments.
Yes, I helped out a little bit with Ridgway and Dewey with the Rochester Fire Department.
Ridgway and Dewey, love you
They're
guys.
friends.
Yes, and I also sponsored you at the Armed Forces Day event.
You did. And now I go every year.
And he goes every year, and I can't even be here for that. And also our friend Doug Graham.
Doug Graham.
Hey
Good
Doug,
friend.
hope you're watching, Doug.
Hi, bud.
And so Jim is a Vietnam veteran, and when I asked if I could interview him, he said, well, I wasn't infantry, do I still qualify? And I said, yes, of course. He was in Vietnam, and you are a hero. You served our country. He shared with me that he was drafted, did you say 1969?
1969.
And you served 2 years.
Served 2 years. My second year was in Vietnam.
Second year Vietnam. And what was your MOS?
My MOS was 52B30. I was a powerman, I believe was the terminology. I was trained to operate and maintain all sorts of emergency generators. Anything from little 5 kW units that ran on a small gasoline engine up to
Sorry, Chellis is barking.
that's fine, Chellis. To maintaining 45 kW diesel operated generators. And in every case during my service, the equipment was backup emergency generators in case base power failed and the control tower needed to have power. I was fortunate to be assigned to airfield units for my whole year, so I didn't have a whole lot of duties to do other than maintain the generator, so that if the power went out, the controller. Sorry about that, I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous.
So the controller or whatever could just climb down off the tower, flip a switch, the generator would come on, and they were back in business.
And that's cool. You told me some stories. So you said one of your jobs also was to fetch water and get the rations.
That was my third duty station. That was we can back up and talk about the others too. That was in Cameron Bay. I spent probably 5 months there, I believe, and maybe 4. I spent 4 months there. We were a 29-man unit total on a hill just outside the Air Force Base. Well, 2 days after I got there, the Air Force people came and said, "You folks are 200 yards inside our base, so you folks no longer have to provide your own security. The Air Force will do it for you." So having my generator in good operating condition, was a fairly new unit. I didn't have a lot of maintenance to perform, they assigned me the job of getting rations and getting water. We're isolated on this little hill outside the Air Force Base, and we have no running water, so we had a 1,000-gallon tank up on top of the hill, and gravity feed water, hot water. We had everything we wanted. And once or twice a day, I'd take a 5-ton truck with a couple of 500-gallon tanks, run down into the Air Force Base, fill them up, bring them back, pump them up into the tanks that we had water. And on one or two occasions, I had forgotten to do it, and I got yelled at by the car captain because he ran out of water during his shower. So guess who had to make a couple of emergency runs to fill the tanks up? Yes, I also had the job of getting rations, and that was to the opposite side of Cameron, because the Army base was on the opposite side of the airfield. And to go over there, and you go through this huge refrigerated room, and as we're walking through picking up our rations from the different piles of stuff, you saw cases of steaks. I saw cases of seafood. I saw all sorts of fine stuff that we never saw. Had to be officers' rations. But still, just to see this stuff and know that it was in Vietnam was pretty cool. And one day we happened to be wandering through there, and I saw cases of pepperoni. I says, "Oh my goodness, Sarge, I haven't seen pepperoni since I got here to Vietnam." He says, "You want a couple of sticks?" I says, "Yes, sir. Yes, please." Well, we took two. He gave me 2 sticks, and we went back with that. And one of them got sliced up and put on our pizza that we had for the night. First time in Vietnam that our cook had ever made pizza. It was pretty cool.
That was a great story.
That was pretty special. And I also had, on my way back through, on my way to get rations one day, I passed a patrol that was resting near this abandoned building. And I pulled in, I says, "Hey, I don't know if you guys are going to be here in an hour, and you probably can't tell me if you are, but if you are, I'm headed to get some rations. I'll be happy to stop back here and drop off. You guys can have some fruit, which is probably something you haven't had." So I went about my way, and I came back. They were still there. So I pulled in. We pulled out some orange. I pulled out a case of oranges. They filled up. They filled up on apples. And one of them saw that I had some tubs of ice cream, and I says, "What's your favorite flavor?" One of them said maple walnut. They got a 5-gallon can, the 5-pound or 5-gallon. I think it was a 5-gallon tub of maple walnut ice cream, and they were ecstatic.
I can't imagine what a treat that would be.
To them, it probably was something they hadn't seen since they'd been there, unless, other than the times that maybe they got back onto a base. Right. Maybe while some other patrol went out. But just the fact that to find them there, and hey, I helped some guys out, and I made their day a little better. You
probably made their whole week.
I'm probably,
sure.
Very possibly.
That's a great story. So I told Jim that my mission here for doing these interviews around the country with our veterans and first responders and their wives and families is that we are trying to raise awareness to what our heroes do for us and how they sacrifice, and when they come out of the service, how so many suffer with PTSD and suicidal thoughts and drug and alcohol related issues and anxiety and depression and so much more, homelessness and just all the gamut of the things that we talk about. And he said, I didn't serve infantry, but I said to him, you probably saw a lot, I'm sure.
Saw some things that I really can't share.
No, and we don't want you to share. I tell everybody, please don't talk about or share anything that that you don't want to, and just talk about whatever you would like to talk about. But I asked him if he happens to know of anybody with, back then they called it battle fatigue, or if he knows of anybody that has possibly committed suicide, or if there's anything that, thank God, right?
Yes,
that you haven't experienced that.
I was very lucky, and I think that my MOS and what I did there was part of that. I didn't have to see the things that many people saw.
Right.
I don't know of anybody that was. Well, I do know two people. Two of my high school classmates were lost. They were both infantry. They're on the wall.
Oh.
There's a guy here in Rochester I know who suffers terribly, and try to stay in touch with him. I see him on Facebook all the time. We chat back and forth. Another fella is very into the same things, worried about the PTSD, and he and I chat a lot. I wish there was more that I could do for them. Mm-hmm. I help her out a little when I can. I'm going to give her some cash to take with her for her trip. But
you are?
I might.
He knows me pretty well, and you guys know I'm trying to do a fundraiser, and I just
she does so much for our folks. I hate
asking for anything, and so that you don't have to do anything.
I know I don't have to. I brought her a calendar. I got a free calendar. I had an opportunity to get a couple of free calendars. And as I'm going through the calendars, I found one for wolves for a friend of mine in Apple Lake in New York. And the other one I found has King Charles Spaniels. And I said that wrong, didn't I?
Charles Cavalier.
King Charles Cavalier Spaniels. So I brought that to her, and that made her morning.
It did, because most of them look like Chellis.
And a lot of them do look like Chellis.
Yeah, and if you heard her barking in the background, I'm trying to ward her off by putting a gate up. Because when my heroes are getting in the RV, she wants to sit on our lap when I'm trying to interview. So. And
I'm a dog person. I told Michelle it wouldn't bother me a bit.
I know.
She could be right here, and I'd be in my glory.
She doesn't listen to me. Anyway, so we don't want to keep this too long because we know everybody's probably working or on their lunch breaks or something. But I thank you for what you do. I love your patriotism. I love seeing you in your camo. I hope I get to see you in your camo every time I get to visit with you.
If you come to see me, I will wear camo just for you.
Isn't it cool? And I thank you for your services, and I thank you for your friendship.
Which will continue. We've been friends for a long time now. We've stayed in touch. She messages me on Facebook. She keeps me informed of what's going on, where she is. I do worry about her being on the road. There we are. We're back.
Apparently, if someone calls me because I'm on my cell phone, it pauses the live Facebook chat. I just found that out.
We're actually still here.
We're still here, but we're going to say goodbye. We don't want to keep you forever, but hey, would you guys, in your comments, thank Jim for his services? I want him to know that we all love him and thank him for his services. And I thank you very much for coming out today. And
thank you to all you guys who also served.
We appreciate
you. Take care.
God bless everybody. Bye. NationalVeteranResources.com and on YouTube, RV Hero Gypsy. God bless.
See ya.
Thank you.